Today, we're doing something a little different. We're looking right past the pitch, past the players, and straight into the corporate vault of an event watched by over 5 billion people worldwide. Just imagine, for a second, organizing an event that lasts exactly 1 month, yet manages to earn more money than some entire countries generate in a full year. Every single time a goal is scored, every time a ticket gets scanned, and literally every second the broadcast is on your TV, serious revenue is being generated. So, let's jump right in.
So how much money does FIFA actually make from a single World Cup? While we fans are obsessing over the heartbreak, the pure emotion, and nations competing for a historic trophy, we kind of have to ask ourselves what the true financial scale of this global marketplace really looks like. For the organizers, this isn't just sports, right? It's a meticulously structured global market. Let's answer exactly how much capital flows through this one-month event.
Okay, let's drop right into that vault. $7.57 billion. Official reports from the 2019 to 2022 World Cup cycle show a staggering $7.57 billion generated. Let that number really sink in. More than $7.5 billion. To put that into perspective, that's roughly the GDP of a small nation, and they earned it in just 1 month. It completely transforms a mere sports tournament into an absolute economic powerhouse. But how do they actually capture all this value?
Well, here is the absolute game changer. They have a total monopoly on World Cup rights. FIFA's exclusive ownership dictates that nobody can broadcast, sponsor, sell merchandise, or even use their branding without explicit permission. Because they possess complete exclusivity, they hold a total monopoly on the event. Think about it. You can't broadcast a game, you can't officially sponsor it, you can't even sell a branded t-shirt without cutting them a check. This ironclad ownership is the engine behind that $7.5 billion.
So, how does a $7.57 billion pie actually get sliced up? The 2019 to 2022 revenue breakdown shows that the game on the pitch is actually a minority player here. The real MVP? TV rights at a jaw-dropping $3.4 billion, followed closely by marketing and sponsorships at $1.8 billion. Then you've got tickets and hospitality at just under $1 billion, and other licensing and merchandise bringing in another $1.44 billion. The revenue streams are incredibly diversified, but man, are they top-heavy?
All right, selling the screen, the biggest secret weapon. Let's dive into that first major revenue slice and look at the fierce global battle for the ultimate prize, the audience.
$3.4 billion from broadcasting rights alone. Nearly half of the total revenue comes simply from allowing broadcasters, country by country, to actually show the matches. It just proves that whoever owns the audience absolutely owns the advertising money. An astronomical $3.4 billion is generated just by handing networks the signal. Every single time you sit down on your couch to watch a match, you're actively participating in a multi-billion-dollar business ecosystem.
Now moving on to the sponsorship goldmine. This is where the World Cup transforms from a sporting event into an unparalleled global advertising stage. Corporate giants know that if the world is watching football, well, the world is watching them. That's exactly why they seamlessly inject their corporate brand visibility into every conceivable viewing angle. We're talking digital stadium boards right on the pitch, commercials during halftime, massive social media campaigns, and logos layered directly over the live tournament broadcasts.
And let me tell you, access to that level of visibility does not come cheap. $1.8 billion comes from marketing and sponsorship rights. These massive corporations willingly hand over nearly $2 billion just for official partner status during the tournament cycle. But hey, they've done the math, right? For these global brands, renting out the world's attention for an entire month to reach billions of consumers all at once is worth every single penny.
Okay, next up, tickets, hospitality, and the fan economy. Because it's definitely not just corporate sponsors fueling this massive machine. It's the everyday, face-painting, traveling fans.
Let's follow this lucrative fan journey. When a fan commits to being there in person, they kick off a massive chain reaction. They're traveling across the globe, purchasing flights, booking hotels, and for the higher-end market, securing extremely lucrative VIP experiences. All of this generated a massive $929 million in direct ticketing and hospitality sales during the recent cycle, just from people wanting to witness history. And we certainly can't forget the merchandise and licensing consumer economy. Add in official team jerseys and scarves, commemorative tournament items, brand collaborations, and yep, those incredibly popular video game partnerships. Every time a kid buys a branded ball in Tokyo or a fan buys a jersey in London, the vault just gets a little heavier. You multiply one t-shirt or one video game by millions of eager fans worldwide, and boom, you unlock another incredibly reliable revenue stream.
Now let's talk about revenue versus true profit. Taking in $7.5 billion is incredible, no doubt, but actually running a global empire? Yeah, that isn't free. Let's look at the actual costs.
The reality is that billions are spent behind the scenes. This is the true cost of the beautiful game. You have to organize the host tournaments, run massive operations, fund global football development, and manage some seriously high-stakes cross-border intricate logistics. A significant portion of these funds goes toward building infrastructure and funding football programs all over the globe to ensure the sport actually continues to grow.
But check out these financial realities. Gross revenue, $7.57 billion. Net profit, $2.37 billion. Even after deducting all those monumental cross-global expenses, the net profit for 2022 was a cool $2.37 billion. Generating over $2 billion in pure profit from a single event cycle makes this one-month tournament way more profitable than many year-round global corporations.
All right, let's look ahead to the 2026 Mega Tournament expansion. If you thought those last numbers were big, the upcoming tournament hosted across North America is about to completely shatter the ceiling.
We are talking about expanding the empire in a huge way for 2026. By expanding to 48 competing teams, we are going to see significantly more matches, vast increases in ticket availability, and crucially, way more broadcasting inventory. 2026 is mathematically designed to be the most profitable sporting event in human history, purely because more teams directly translates to more countries tuning in and way more sponsors desperately wanting a piece of the action.
And you can see it right here in the projected revenue growth. When we compare the historic 2022 cycle at $7.57 billion to the 2026 projected cycle, we see revenue climbing to an expected $9 billion due to this massive commercial expansion. The global appetite for this brand is absolutely nowhere near its peak.
Okay, time for a crazy comparison, breaking down the billions. Honestly, the human brain really struggles to comprehend billions of dollars, so let's stack these numbers up and break that $7.57 billion down into actual time on the pitch. Look at this time frame. Estimated earnings per match? Over $200 million. Per hour? Millions of dollars. Per minute? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. While we're all just sitting there enjoying the game, FIFA is generating hundreds of thousands of dollars every single minute the clock is ticking. Before a player even finishes celebrating a goal, a fortune has traded hands.
You're not just watching football, you're watching a multi-billion-dollar empire at work. Ultimately, behind the dramatic penalty shootouts and the emotional celebrations exists one of the most powerful business machines ever built. It's a literal masterpiece of commercial organization, all wrapped up in the world's favorite sport.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating final thought to consider today. As the 2026 tournament expands to completely unprecedented heights, is there any limit to how much money the beautiful game can actually generate? Are we just watching the beginning of an entirely new financial era for this sport? It's definitely something to think about the next time you hear that starting whistle.